All right, I didn't want to do it, but there are some alternative views and things that just aren't being discussed when it comes to this RFT versus VB debate. And I think in addition, I think people are scared of having opposing views with the elite ivory towers of behavior analysis, as well as the marketing gods of BA. So this is fueled by events that have been happening, but I didn't want to focus particularly on any one person. This us versus them mentality has actually been shown in our own research to be detrimental and not productive. The point here is to provide a sort of model and start some discussion around the things that should be questioned, asked, and thought about when you see debates like this occurring. Here are some things that are not being articulated or clearly demonstrated. First of all, some of these people make money when they talk about one camp or the other. We won't say particular names, but there's people that are presenting and not disclosing this up front. It is questionable on many fronts. When someone, for example, presenting to some 1,400 people at a conference forgets to disclose that they are making money off of VB-related products, that could be a problem. Now, the same would go for anybody in the RFT camp as well. This is why we have disclosure systems that are not just in behavior analysis, but psychology in general. Professional organizations in our field are shifting from science focus to these sort of trade show focused presentations. Another thing we should expect is abundance of citations and data and resources when it comes to the positions being made. We're seeing this slide into more trade show, this is my opinion and thoughts on things, as opposed to actually doing things like citing your references. If I were to do a talk on relational frame theory, this is a bare minimum of what I would say I have read and looked at and formulated some of my opinions on it. Not one article, not even a Facebook post. Go to the sources and learn as much as I can from there. Now, if you really want to step into this conversation further, you'll realize that they can't even be compared. They're interested in the same psychological phenomenon, right? They're looking at language, for example. I'd argue RFT is looking to encompass a lot more. But first of all, they have two separate units of analysis. Second of all, they both come from different philosophical worldviews. This means you can't necessarily say that one is better than the other. They can look at empirical research and see which one is solving problems or similar problems, and we can evaluate it on that level, which most of the time these discussions don't go that way. They're going off of more so dogma and who are you most interested in supporting, advertising, seeing continue, and rah-rah. And there's more to be discussed here. I showed you just a few of the books that have discussed these sort of things in length and in detail. That's not the point of this. The point is to be skeptical of everything. This is not a personal attack. It's a matter of science. That's it. Now, this debate goes back 30, almost 40 years in our own behavioral journals. I've yet to see a reasonable critique from anybody that's read the work in its entirety. If someone doesn't understand the difference between radical behaviorism and functional contextualism, they don't understand it all. If they don't understand the difference between transfer of stimulus control and transformation of stimulus control, they don't understand enough to be able to compare the two. If they don't understand the big research articles like Lipkin's et al. Or Dewar et al., this is a big problem because things like that are pinnacle articles that separate the difference between the two systems. If they go with the molecular versus molar debate, saying that one is either the other, wrong. Sorry, try again. Look, the point here is you have to take the learning into your own hands. Look, the only reason I'm going to even talk about this is because I'm reminded of things that I contacted when I was an undergraduate and studying in Linda Hayes' lab. People would speak about things and should be like, close, but NQR. And every post, almost every post or discussion from leaders in our field that I see on this, that's it. That's my thought. Not quite right. Inform yourself. So when you see somebody share something, be skeptical, ask questions, wonder how much they actually have when it comes to training and the things that they're talking about. And if you don't do your homework and you don't understand what you're sharing, then please don't. You don't realize that what you're doing is you're modeling something that's not science. You're doing things that are not in the best interest of the field. Some things to think about. Do these people have multi-million-dollar lines of research riding on one or the other? There's some sort of authority in this area where countering them could be in a way look like a personal attack. Now, it's science, this shouldn't be happening, but question that. Is it a history of reinforcement that's leading them to sharing this sort of stuff? Is that why you're interested in it? Because you see a pattern of responding occur over and over and over again? You're like, oh, that must be right? That's not how this is supposed to work in behavior analysis. So here's your recap. Marketing and science are two different things. They get blurred in our field and they get blurred with social media, but we need to be able to distinguish between the two, and there's controls in place that should be being followed that aren't being followed at really critical times. Oftentimes these people have some sort of direct monetary compensation for publishing stuff, saying certain things, and that is shady at best, questionably unethical depending on the circumstances. When somebody teaches you from one camp or the other, you have to take the learning into your own hands. There's a battle with the history of reinforcement that they have that you're going to be contacting yourself. You need to go out there, read, and inform yourself. I'm sorry that everything requires so much reading in our field. Until it's in other mediums, audio, video, and such, that's the way it is. And as a scientist practitioner, you, myself, all of us, we have a duty to fight this history reinforcement and be constantly learning and evaluating and going beyond the one article, the one training, or maybe just shutting our mouths altogether on the topic. And I implore you, please think for yourself and don't fall to the perils of dogma. That's your Daily BA. Alright, down here is the most recent upload. Check it out. Maybe you're interested. This is what YouTube says on my channel you're most interested in based on all the tags and such, and then subscribe down here. It means a lot. Hit the thumbs up button. I'll see you in the comments.